than more. How could anyone fail? Such love is a miracle. How deeply connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your love is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Good evening, party people, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Bethany Crouch, and it is my privilege to be with you tonight as we honor Steve Hansen and his tenure on the Sacramento City Council. We're calling this celebration Cheers to 8 Years, appropriately named. Let's give a little virtual love now to Boy Howdy for opening the celebratory space for us this evening. They're comprised of members of the Sacramento Area Gay Men's Chorus, and as you heard, they are spectacular. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Tonight's event is an opportunity for us to thank Steve and to really celebrate all of his accomplishments as he served on the Sacramento Area City Council for the last 8 years. We have Sacramento area leaders, change makers, performers, everyone gathering to give Steve an appropriate send-off, to say thank you and to share some virtual love with him tonight. So first, we will move over to friends from the advocacy, arts, and education sectors.
Hey Steve, right off the bat I want to clear the record. I did not retire a week before you are just to upstage you. That's the kind of thing that people in theater and the arts would do. But we are in theater and the arts, so anyway, it wasn't intentional, okay? Tonight it's all about you. And I'm really delighted to have the honor to congratulate and thank you for your 2 terms of service to our city as a member of the City Council. I still remember fondly when you first came to town, and for a short period of time, you worked with me and my team at the Cable Television Trade Association. It was an entry-level job, but it didn't take long for me to discover that you were as bright or brighter than any of my vice presidents, and clearly on track for bigger things in your future. I remember, too, when you first suggested your interest in running for City Council. Many of us who had worked for years to advance the civil and human rights of the city's LGBT community have been looking for the perfect candidate to become the first openly gay person to serve on the council. And you checked every box. You were smart, articulate, socially adept, high energy, politically savvy, and passionate about the prospect of public service. You won that campaign, and you didn't waste any time getting to work on the things you promised to address. You led us in educating your council colleagues and city staff about the discriminatory policies that had long kept members of our community from living their lives open and authentically. And as a result of your years of tireless effort on our behalf, Sacramento is one of the safest and most welcoming environments for LGBT people anywhere in the country. But you certainly weren't a Johnny One-Note, and you soon established a reputation for taking on some of the biggest issues facing urban centers here and all over the country. You were elected to represent the downtown district of the city and soon became a champion for small business and economic development. You recognized that your district was the cultural hub of the region and that most of the city's cultural assets were in your care. And it didn't take long for you to become one of the most effective champions for the arts in the city's history. It would take days, not the 2 minutes allotted to me, to list your many accomplishments during your terms in office. So I'll just say this. When you got elected, you brought a formidable intellect, an enviable work ethic, a moral compass, and a passion for social justice with you. You've been a true servant leader, and you've set the bar high for any who follow you. You're leaving our city better than you found it, and I'm really proud to be your friend and fellow traveler in this, your one wild and precious life.
Steve Hansen, City Council member on your way out, District 4. I'm Daryl Roberts, and I'm with my much better half, Tina Roberts.
Hi, Steve.
And we just want to thank you, Steve, for your support from the very beginning of our work here at Leah Tata Floyd Elementary School. We're standing in front of the banner in front of the school. And I think that was because somebody instructed us that we had to stand in front of something that you would recognize. So we just want to say thank you very much. Your support for our kids and our families in the art area and the education area is an example of what a city council member can do and being supportive of community-based organizations in their district. So again, thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate your family. Look forward to working with you when you're not a city council member.
Steve, what I love about you is your heart of a servant. It's not always easy, but what you have to remember is now you have a young one in your house, Henry. And you know, kids tend to watch what we do, not always what we say. So I look forward to your legacy continuing in whatever way you decide is best for you and your family. And once again, we really appreciate you and your heart of a servant. Thank you, Steve.
Hi, Steve. You've been such an amazing asset for Sacramento and for my career personally. Thank you so much for championing Politically Vulnerable when it was first taken down from the Vanguard almost 8-9 years ago. It feels like forever. And having a show at City Council that you helped me and were really instrumental and fought hard for me as a female artist to be able to create the work that I want to make the city a better informed place means the world to me. And I'm standing in front of the koi fish at the Mars building, and you've been so involved with all of our city arts and just a true dear friend and an amazing human, individual, intellectual. And I hope we have many, many projects nationally, internationally to come. Love you, Steve.
Hi, my name is Jose Di Gregorio, and I'm an artist here in Sacramento. I've known Steve for about 10 years now. I believe it would have been 2010 when I was on the board at Verge Center for the Arts, and he came on prior to his time in public service. And from there, we were able to establish a relationship. Steve had purchased some of my work, and we had maintained a correspondence where ultimately we worked together to come up with some mural projects with some of the schools in District 4, particularly Leah Tata Floyd and Washington Elementary School, where between Steve and myself, Steve was able to streamline the project and raise funds in order to see it come to fruition. And we were able to have some of the students involved, some of them having never experienced any public art projects or any sort of fine art opportunities. And so it was really a special thing to have them participate, and that was thanks to Steve and him working with me on a vision together. And so I'm glad to call Steve my friend, and that it's always refreshing to run into him whenever I'm downtown or midtown or at the warehouse artist lofts where I live. So I'm grateful to have him as a part of the community. Thank you, Steve.
Hi, I'm Amber Stott, and I am the founding executive director at Food Literacy Center, and I just wanted to share a quick story about Steve Hansen and what's been important about his term of service to Food Literacy Center. So you can see behind me construction that is happening on what we're calling the Future Cooking School or Broccoli headquarters here at Leotata Floyd Elementary. And many, many years ago, this project is now more than 6 years in the making. Many years ago, we were in a meeting with all the official players of the project that span the school district, the developer, the city, and Steve Hansen said in that meeting, we've had several years of meetings now where we come together and everyone tells us what can't be done and the reasons why we can't do this project. And he said, in the next meeting, I want everyone to come to the table and tell me how we can get this done and what we can do to achieve this. And we have had forward movement on this project ever since. So I just wanted to share that story and show that we are really making progress. And I just want to say thank you.
Steve Hansen, I want to thank you for everything that you have represented to the rebuilding of Washington Elementary School. From day one, you were next to me. You introduced me to so many contacts, so many people who are now friends and are an integral part of our school community. And I want to thank you for that. We would not be the amazing school that we are right now today if it were not for you. And I really want to thank you for that.
Hi, Steve. In case you can't recognize me with my COVID long hair, it's Kathy Fleming, the recently retired executive director of Fairy Tale Town. I'm here at Fairy Tale Town's Anansi the Spider playset because you helped us cut the ribbon when we opened it to the public in 2018. I could just as well be in the children's theater where you read stories to children during our Dr. Seuss celebrations, or at the Mother Goose stage where you helped us celebrate our 60th anniversary. And of course, you were a driving force behind our expansion project, allowing us not only to gain the property that we have behind this playset, but also helping us raise money so we can build a story center there, a space where children can read, write, illustrate, and act out their very own stories. Steve, you've been a great friend to Fairy Tale Town during your years in office, and we greatly appreciate all of your advocacy, your support, your leadership, and your partnership. We really hope you're as proud of our accomplishments as we are. Steve, as you go into the world in your next adventures, we hope that many of them happen here at Fairy Tale Town with your family. Thanks again for all you've done for Fairy Tale Town, and best of luck to you in your future endeavors.
Hi, I'm Buck Busfield, producing artistic director of the Sophia Sokopolis Center for the Arts, home of B Street Theater. And this beautiful theater space you see behind you is part of the Sophia, and this is our home. This new center opened 2 years ago, and we've been having a wonderful time in this new place we call home. We are one of the many wonderful new cultural assets that dot the landscape of Sacramento that have come online or been seriously improved in the last 8 years. The Powerhouse Science Center, Clara, a new community center, theater, LGBT center, all kinds of things have happened over the last 8 years, and there's a coincidence. One individual has been on city council during that tenure, and that's Mr. Steve Hansen, our friend. Steve was a tireless, fearless advocate for all things arts, all things cultural in this lovely town we call home. We thank you, Steve. We wouldn't be here without you. We love you, and best wishes in the future.
Councilman Hansen, I want to express my deep appreciation for your leadership and support for the Museum of Science and Curiosity on behalf of the staff and board, and especially on behalf of the hundreds of thousands of students and families that will visit this exciting new community asset. You've been an advocate for the project for years. You've provided the support needed to pursue the critically important QZAB bond funds, With a unanimous decision by the mayor and council, you've consistently cited our project during your public speaking engagements, and you've been a part of so many of our major events, from groundbreaking to donor appreciation and our recent rebranding event. You've shown your commitment to the vision and mission of MOSAC by becoming a personal donor to our capital campaign, supporting your passion for STEAM education and reaching underrepresented and underserved communities. The new Museum of Science and Curiosity is just one example of the many important contributions that you've made to our city during your tenure on City Council. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Hi, I'm Chris Rack. I'm president of Unite Here Local 49. I met Steve when he reached out to me and said, hey, I'm really concerned about the safety of hospitality workers, and we're working on making sure we limit their exposure to secondhand smoke. And it was the beginning of a very long 8-year productive friendship where he always had our back, down to making sure that when this Golden One Center, this beautiful building behind me, opened up, that all of our hundreds of members who came from old Arco Arena not only were able to come here, but were able to come here and maintain their standard and have good jobs. He's been a very, very good friend of our union and of the labor movement. And Steve, we'll miss you, and thank you very much for your support.
Hi, Steve. They asked me to say a few words now that you are moving to the next stage of your life. First of all, I'm very disappointed about that, but it is what it is. I was not one of your early supporters, but over the last 8 years, I became one of your biggest fans, and definitely a good friend of yours and your family. We worked together, and it's because of your leadership that we were successful to start development of more than 750 units in the Midtown area, including Q19, 20 PQR, the press building, and of course 816 Eleanor with that beautiful mural, and the last one, the mansion. That's the one thing. The second thing is we were successful to expand the boundaries of the Midtown PB twice, which is, I feel it is a major accomplishment, bringing more resources to the Midtown. I came here to talk about you in front of the sign of the Brooks Druid Park. I will never forget how a call I made, and after tell my call, and then a few weeks later, a couple more calls, and then a few months later, almost a year later, construction of this beautiful facility, great amenity for Midtown and the whole city. I wish you well in your next endeavors. I know now that you have to spend more time with Mike and especially with Henry. For us, we are very, very grateful of your contribution to Midtown, to your district and to Sacramento, and I hope that you don't forget us, and that you decide eventually to get involved more and contribute to our city. Good luck, my friend, and thank you very, very much.
I'm Kevin Ferrer, the Executive Director of the Sacramento Sierras Building and Construction Trades Council. Steve has always had a special place in the hearts of the building trades. His support for blue-collar workers is reflective in all the projects that are happening in downtown, the Sacramento Convention Center, the Sacramento Community Theater, and all the projects within the citywide Community Workforce Training Agreement. Steve has always prioritized career pathways and apprenticeships, and we are more than thankful for his support as a City Council member. We wish you well in the future. Thank you so much for all you've done.
I'm standing here at F and 16th Street in downtown Sacramento at the site of what I think is one of Steve Hansen's most memorable achievements. This construction project will be the North Central Valley's first LGBT welcoming, affordable senior apartment community. LGBT seniors and homeless LGBT seniors are some of the most vulnerable people in our community. and they'll be well protected and find a safe, supportive home here at Mutual Housing's Lavender Courtyard. People don't really appreciate the attacks affordable housing developers get when they propose affordable housing. Attacks from small, organized, but vocal community members attacking the very idea of supporting low-income people with housing. We also don't appreciate how vocal these residents are with elected officials and how much pressure elected officials face when affordable housing is proposed in their districts. Steve Hansen stood up to these vocal community members, knowing that most of his constituents were compassionate people that wanted to support people's right to have a home. And so we look forward to the day when we can celebrate and welcome in the new residents here at Lavender Courtyard by Mutual Housing. You know, Steve Hansen also was a leader in getting Sacramento's first rent control ordinance on the books. Steve recognized that there was an organized and moneyed real estate lobby here in Sacramento, at the same time recognizing and witnessing a growing, strong renters' rights movement. He brought opposing parties together to craft a rent stabilization initiative which will protect the worst abuses of unethical landlords and help stabilize renters and prevent homelessness. So Steve, we appreciate what you've done and the time and expertise you brought to your job as a city council member, and look forward to seeing what you do next. Thanks, Steve.
Steve. I know this is supposed to be cheers to 8 years of great public service, but I can't help but think back about how long I've really known you, and it's been a long time. I think you were just a couple of years out of college, and I was, well, 20 pounds lighter, sadly. But even back in the day, it was clear you were passionate and were going to make a difference wherever you focused your talents. Back then, I thought, smart kid. Today, I think, accomplished leader. Now, when I think about your legacy on the city council, there are a lot of great things I could speak about. For example, I could talk about your tireless advocacy for the LGBT Community Center and finding its forever home. Or I could talk about your support for development in the downtown and midtown area and the explosion of housing, new businesses, and culture, just to name a few things. Instead, I am here at the SMUD Museum of Science and Curiosity, which is just in the background here for you all. You never gave up on the vision for the Mosaic, even when it looked like an impossibility. Your persistence, haranguing, and sometimes even crankiness never allowed this amazing project to fall off of the public radar. And in the 11th, or maybe it was the 13th hour, you were able to help get the financing across the finish line. I'm so proud to have been able to work with you on this amazing new public treasure. The Mosaic is a catalyst for kids from all walks of life to be inspired by and embrace the promise and mystery of science. It's a place for your son Henry, my grandson Xander, and countless other kids to dream big about the future of our world. And what better legacy, my friend, than one about our kids and our future? It's an amazing thing that you've done here. Well, my friend, here's to your 8 great years of dedicated public service. I can't thank you enough for making Sacramento a better place to live. Kudos to you. Job well done. Cheers.
Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining this special celebration of our favorite council member, Steve Hansen. I've had the privilege of knowing Steve for over a decade now and had the opportunity to help get him elected onto the city council, first in the city's history. and ultimately became very close to Steve over the years. And we had the opportunity yet again to work together to make this community better by creating a home, a permanent home for the LGBT community in the greater Sacramento region. As many of you know, the Sacramento LGBT Community Center, for which I served as board president for about 6 years, went without a permanent home for most of its history of about 30 years, but continued to grow in scope and service, serving more and more people, in particular LGBTQ youth who were experiencing housing insecurity and homelessness. And Steve Hansen stepped up with the mayor and got his council members bought into the idea that the LGBT community deserved a permanent brick and mortar home right in the heart of Lavender Heights. I know that Steve cares just as much as anyone about making sure that we have a lasting legacy in Sacramento for the LGBT community. And no matter what he does moving forward, and I know that he's got a really bright future ahead, we will always remember him, and his legacy will be tied to this beautiful building that we have in Lavender Heights, a home for the LGBT community and all of the diverse cross-section of members within it who we have the privilege of serving. So thank you, Steve, from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the LGBT Center. We're grateful, and we look forward to continuing to work with you to keep this city great.
Steve was extremely supportive in my efforts to transform the Arts Commission from a body that looked at public art and made some decisions, but felt fairly removed and remote from the rest of the community, which is vast. And we worked together to drive this conversation around equity over the years, in part forming the Race and Cultural Equity Task Force, which resulted in a Race and Cultural Equity Statement that guides most of the funding that the Commission delivers to this day, and focuses that funding on underrepresented or communities and historically underserved organizations, which means that the funding that the Arts Commission delivers in 2020 and beyond is mostly going to build the infrastructure that the community, the people of color, largely haven't received historically. And that's occurred sort of as a balance to organizations that have historically been supported by the commission, like the ballet, and the Clara is a good example of a place that brings both of those things together. And the Community Center Theater, which hasn't reopened, but I'm very much looking forward to having in Center Isle. And then finally, the commission itself was originally established as a city-county body. And over the years, we felt that the city hasn't gotten the level of representation and access in those conversations around funding as it should have. So now the city council, each member gets to appoint their own representative, and then the mayor gets several representatives. But as Steve likes to say, we have a thick layer of peanut butter as opposed to a thin, drippy one, I suppose. And then going forward, I hope that that really strengthens the conversations and empowers local artists and creatives to make the city and the commission what they need it to be.
Hey Steve, we just want to thank you for all that you've done for District 4 and for Sacramento, being such a huge champion for us and for Street Soccer USA, and allowing us to dedicate and commit some time to the city as well. But most importantly, just your belief in making your district and all of Sacramento a better place to work, live, and have fun, and being a champion for everybody.
Yeah, Steve, this place wouldn't be here without you. We're so, so grateful, and just so appreciate you making sure that this community has assets like this space and so much more. We wanted to make sure that you stayed here with us as we continue to have fun out here. So we have a great reveal of recognition here. This goal was made possible by you, Steve. Thank you so much. Also, wanted you to know it's not all business out here.
Never. Bring you with us everywhere we go.
Councilmember Hansen, we wanted to send you our deepest gratitude and thanks for all of your service. You've not only supported us with your vote, but you've come out to get to know our team members, to show how much value and worth our team has, the incredible impact that they have in the city. You've taken us to breakfast and come to celebrate housing and job placements with us, to celebrate the holidays with us, to come to team meetings and actually get to know us. And we can't tell you how much that has meant. Your impact has been felt, and we are so incredibly grateful. So from Downtown Streets team to you, thank you, Councilmember Hansen.
Oh, hello. Hello, Steve. Hello, everyone. How much fun has this been already? And we are just getting started. There are still so many people that want to give their thanks and appreciation for 8 years of your service, Steve. Wow, 8 years. It's hard to believe, but yet when I think about all the amazing work that you've done in and around our city, I can't believe it. You have been nothing but a steadfast champion of Sacramento, and in particular, District 4. And when I think back on our personal and professional relationship, I have a huge smile on my face. Steve, I want to say thank you for your support of the restaurant community, for your support of the park and rec community, for your support of transportation and cool, innovative ideas. I want to say thank you for being a champion of nonprofits. As a board member at Weave and the LGBT Center, I can tell you something, that is meaningful work that we are so appreciative for. I want to just focus on that for a little bit because as a gay man, I can't tell you what it means to live in a city that is supportive and inclusive and all of the things that we hope for as a child, that when we grow up and realize our true potential, that we can live in a place like this. And Steve, that is a true testament to your work. Not only in helping the LGBT Center get its new building, but also being instrumental in securing funds for our youth shelter, which is doing such amazing work. I remember after the awful Orlando massacre, you, Steve, stood up and said, we are going to do something. We are going to recognize those lives lost and let them know that they are not alone. And it's something that I'll never forget. Steve, you are one of a kind. You are a handsome devil with a witty sense of humor, and I just love you. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm not the only one that wants to celebrate you. Let's hear now from more change makers, community leaders, friends and loved ones, and a special performance from Clemone Charles.
The delta breeze that blows it soothes our hearts and our souls. See the sunrise in the east, the perfect light that leads you home. The artists and murals surely make a mark. Kings and Republic, concerts in the park. California's capital, farm to fork, a melting pot of culture, the city we adore. The delta breeze that blows it soothes our hearts and our souls. See the sunrise in the east, the perfect light that leads you home. The fertile soil here, sunburst autumn leaves, salmon and steelhead, Sacramento, our city of trees. The delta breeze that blow, it soothes our hearts and our souls. See the sunrise in the east, the perfect light that leads you home. The delta breeze that blow, it soothes our hearts and our souls. See the sunrise in the east, the perfect light that leads you home.
Hi, Steve. It is my privilege to have this opportunity to send a brief message to you to just let you know how loved and appreciated you are. You have been a friend to me in a very profound way that I really can't thank you enough for. You know, the work that we do is not always the most friendly to young people with big dreams, and you have been one of the most constant, supportive, insightful, encouraging friends and colleague that I could ever have had the privilege of working with. Your impact on this community is absolutely undeniable. The legacy that you are leaving for downtown, the things that you have brought to life are incredible. But truly, I think the most meaningful thing that you have done from that dais is just you being you. You are the example that even if you are a little bit different or you are bringing in a new idea or a new perspective that may not be the way that we have always done it, that if you put in the work and if you are passionate, you are strong-willed, you have the dedication to make it happen, anything really is possible. So as you move on to your next adventure, I just want to let you know it has been a pleasure watching you grow as a leader, but maybe the most important is watching you grow as a partner, as a mentor, as a friend, and as a dad. So cheers to spontaneous moments of joy. Cheers to your next big adventure and what you will achieve with all of the new opportunities that lay ahead of you. And cheers to you, Steve Hansen. You truly are one hell of a guy.
Hello, I'm Ernesto Delgado with Well and La Cosecha. I'm here with you today to share my experiences with Steve Hansen. From my first meeting with him, it was apparent to me that he truly loved to serve his community. During his 2 terms, I would often see him walking through the city, stopping to visit with businesses, including restaurants like mine. One thing I noticed was he never took his title for granted. He always rolled up his sleeves and got into the trenches with all of us in an effort to truly understand our needs. A public servant in the truest sense of the word while affecting change. Steve shares my vision of inclusion and community. One where everyone, no matter the ethnicity, background, orientation, or belief system, can enjoy all that our city has to offer. A city that represents the best of humanity and compassion, common goals and strengths. In fact, Steve was one of the key figures in making La Cosecha restaurant go from dream to reality. Without his tenacity, La Cosecha may never have happened. I'll never forget his inaugural speech, one in which he expressed that his father could see him now and share his pride in accomplishments. This touched my heart. as I have often expressed a similar wish that my beloved mother see how I have taken her love of cooking and service to others and created something that I hope would make her proud. We share this hope, Steve and I, that our lives mean something greater than simply serving our interests, but bring a small part of the compassion and goodness of those who came before us, so their memories could live on. However, the act that truly demonstrated Steve's character to me occurred a couple years ago. It was a time of aggressive protest in the plaza, profoundly affecting La Cosecha. My staff and I were overwhelmed. I felt desperate and lost and reached out to Steve for assistance. He showed up immediately, and later bringing Councilmember Eric Guerra, Mayor Daryl Steinberg, with a full team of city staff with support. He also took the time to reassure the public, my team, and myself that the violent acts would not be tolerated on his watch. His words exactly. Reassuring our safety and success of La Cosecha, he spoke on our behalf in a clear, no-nonsense voice about the goodness at La Cosecha to the media. His quick, courageous action united the Sacramento community into a wave of support. I truly felt heard and honored as a community provider in small business. Today, I have a privilege to have been one of the restaurateurs chosen to share our stories of Steve. So I asked myself, has Steve Hansen been able to accomplish what he set out to do? I can attest that he has delivered. With consistency, a loud voice, good humor, and grace. I would love to toast Steve Hansen with one of my favorite tequilas, Reserva de la Familia, because he's become like family. Steve, your vision and effort for Sacramento has made a difference in our lives. I wish you the best in your next endeavor. Salud y amor.
Hi everyone, Kimio Bassett here. Full disclosure, Steve and I are good personal friends, so I may be a bit biased. But when I think about Councilmember Hansen and his legacy, I think about his contributions to the Central City, Sacramento as a whole, during a lot of the good times. I think of his contributions to the arts, to education, to housing and economic development, to social justice and equality, and those things last. But of course, I'm also going to always remember, his leadership and unwavering support of the small business community during these darkest of times, throughout this pandemic. The alfresco dining setup you see behind me is just one example of his willingness to innovate and adapt in order to help businesses like mine survive. So Steve, thank you for the past 8 years. And I'm really excited for you to be able to spend more time with Michael and Henry. And I'm excited to see what comes next for you. And I wish for you nothing more than what the Japanese often refer to as a open future, which really just means one that's full of unlimited possibility and hope. Stay safe and healthy, and I will see you soon, my friend.
I am Marie Boucher. I'm 92 years old. 8 years ago, the doorbell rang, and I ran to the door to answer it, and there stood a handsome young man that said, "I am Steve Hansen. I am running for councilman, district number 4. I said, "Welcome, come in." He sat in the rocking chair, presented his platform, rocked a little bit more, and when he left, my husband and I said, "We're voting for you." For him. So he didn't make any bad decisions as far as we could tell. I would watch city council meeting on Tuesday just to hear Steve speak. He was so smart and so good. I felt like a proud mom as I was listening to him. He accomplished much. I'm so proud of you, Steve, that you accomplished so much for the city of Sacramento and the city as a city councilman in the 4th district. I love you, Steve. I will always love you. I wish you nothing but the best. You are part of our extended family. I wish you the very best in the sense that health, happiness, and whatever endeavor you pursue. Much love, Mama Marie.
Opportunity to acknowledge the important work that the District 4 office has performed over the last 8 years. Using the fun background that you see here of the Midtown Farmers Market to signify one of the favorite projects that our office got to work on with the D4 team, which are the incredible branding rainbow crosswalks at the Lavender Heights area and the great sign toppers there. Obviously, celebrating the LGBT community has been a huge contribution that Councilmember Hansen has made with his time on council, in addition to so many other things. But the reason we elected to highlight this particular one is obviously this area functions as a real epicenter of Midtown, and a lot of that is due to the investment in these iconic crosswalks. Just wanted to kind of end with saying thank you, wish best of luck to the whole D4 team, and really acknowledge the work that you've done over the past year. Steve, really excited to see what comes next for you.
Steve Hansen. I'm here representing Visit Sacramento in the hospitality industry, and just wanted to say thank you for everything you've done for the organization and for the industry moving forward. The project behind me, obviously you had a huge hand in the expansion of the convention center. You know, we had a new mayor come in, new city manager come in, and it felt like the progress we'd made was stopped. And you and the mayor collectively sat down with a group of us, hoteliers and different people from hospitality to figure out what we needed in this project, what would make this successful, what would allow us to book bigger conventions. So, you know, what felt like a stop really gave the project new life, and I applaud you for doing it because it's turned into a better project. And we're getting set to be done with this building, probably a few more weeks, but I'm excited at what's to come. And then over this way on our tour, we have the Community Center Theater, which you also were instrumental in changing and renovating and bringing it up to what it's supposed to be, away from that brutalist architecture to something that we can all be proud of. And the last thing I want to say is, Steve, thank you for supporting Visit Sacramento with the CARES funding. You know, we're funded mainly by hotels, which I know you know, but financially it was going to be pretty tough for us, and you guys gave us new life with this. You're somebody I didn't have to convince because you've spent a lot of time educating yourself on the value of this industry and what we bring to the city. So I really appreciate that and applaud you for doing your homework, because not everybody does that, and you really put the time in. You have so much to be proud of in the city, so much legacy that you left behind, and I hope you know that. I look forward to working with you in the future, and I look forward to you buying me lunch now. I think that would be a nice change. I'm just kidding, man. Lunch is always on me. Thanks, Steve.
Hello, everybody. Michael Alt, Downtown Partnership. Down here in Old Sacramento, about to celebrate the holidays, the tree lighting, but we want to celebrate and give thanks to our council member, Steve Hansen. For the last 8 years, you have made a huge difference in downtown. This city would not be the same without your leadership and the key amenities. We're about to open the Convention Center, the Golden One Center. When we look at MLS, we look at the development of the downtown core. Steve's leadership really has been transformative in that. We have not just a council member that believes in an urban development, but actually lived downtown, is raising a family here, and really has been a champion not only of our organization, but a personal friend. I want to wish you an incredible retirement from the city council, but we know it's not the end of what you're going to do to support us downtown. Good luck in your next adventure. Good luck in whatever you decide to do. You've got a friend downtown, and we appreciate you more than you know. Best of luck.
Hi, Councilmember Hansen. I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you for your commitment, your dedication, your hard work, and your service to District 4 over the last 8 years. There are so many things you've accomplished, but some that come to mind that I'd really like to express my gratitude for are your commitment to the arts community. I mean, think about the Sophia and what an amazing crown jewel that is for Sacramento. Without your dedication and your commitment to that project, we wouldn't enjoy that today. I think of the Powerhouse Science Center. With your vision and determination, that project is now in its final stage of completion. Imagine when that opens, it's going to serve thousands of kids from across our region. I thank you for having safer streets today for our pedestrians and for you building bike lanes throughout the community to get our people out of their cars and onto our gorgeous Sacramento streets. I thank you for bringing attention to the LGBTQ community and for your partnership with them to help them realize a dream, a lifelong dream of owning the center. That's now a realized dream thanks to you. I really could go on, but what I wanted to say in this message is thank you. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you on behalf of myself, my neighbors, District 4, the city of Sacramento, and beyond. Thank you. Thank you for making our community a better place.
Okay. We're ready. All right. Hi, Steve. Hey, Steve. Sue Mortensen, Athel Wong, Capitol Mansions, Lorenzo. I hope you remember the wonderful day when you came to the unveiling of the signs indicating the boundaries of the Capitol Mansions Historic District. And I would like to remind you, we did not make you climb the ladder to do the unveiling. So you should be grateful. Probably saved your neck on that one. This project and a variety of other projects that we became involved in as a neighborhood association have really contributed to and enhanced the character of our neighborhood. And we so appreciate the fact that you are accessible to us and supportive of our efforts in doing that. And the fact that you listen to all of our comments at those long city council meetings. And also send a representative to our actual neighborhood meeting. Right. We had the sense that you were paying attention and were listening to us. We really appreciate your 8 years of service. And as you leave, we wish you well. And keep us informed as to what your next activities are. Yes, always keep us on the list. Thank you, Steve. Good luck.
Go. Hi, my name is Cyrus Yousefi. My company's name is CFY Development. We specialize in building affordable housing. I have had the pleasure of knowing Steve since he entered into City Council in 2012. And I have nothing but best regards for Steve. He has always been there to help us with our projects. He has always been a supporter for affordable housing, and he has always been very fair about the rent control, and we are very, very lucky to have had Steve working for us. I wish nothing but the best for him in the future, and I am hopeful that he would stay engaged, helping all the Sacramento people. Good luck, Steve. Much appreciate all your service to this community.
Hi, everyone. I'm pleased to be here to help celebrate a dedicated public servant and wonderful local partner, Steve Hansen. I've grown to know Steve during his 8 years on the City Council. And over that time, I witnessed his dedication to our city and our community. He has been a vocal advocate for important issues like transportation and infrastructure projects, ensuring that Sacramentans have safe and environmentally friendly options to travel. He's also been a strong supporter of our small businesses and local organizations, the people who truly keep Sacramento moving forward and help our community thrive. Over the years, Steve and I have found common passions and worked together on important projects like the Powerhouse Science Center and the I Street Bridge. On these projects, we made it a goal of ours to create state-of-the-art public places that Sacramentans can visit and feel pride in their city. Steve has been an important partner to have on the local level, helping to ensure that there is a local voice in federal projects. He understands the importance of the partnership between the federal and local government to make things work for all Sacramentans. Steve and I also share a love of art, and we have taken joy in watching Sacramento become recognized as a world-class art city we have always been. We share the view that art is powerful and that a strong community needs to have access to creative spaces. This creative outlet is important for a city, and Steve has always been supportive of that. Steve, thank you for your dedication to our city and its people. I wish you the best in this next chapter and look forward to seeing you and seeing the work you continue to do for our community. Thank you.
Steve, excited to be with you here virtually to celebrate all of your many accomplishments. Hard to even know where to begin with all you've done, and particularly for us at the Local Government Commission. Your leadership has been so instrumental for us, especially coming on at the same time I did, basically 7 years ago, and really shepherding us through that transition and being such a strong ally and supporter for me and the staff, and just really getting to celebrate and see so much growth and impact with you over the 7 years. I appreciate it so much, and I know everyone at the LGC team does as well. As you know, at LGC, I've had the pleasure of working with over 700 local governments, staff and elected officials from across the state, and I can easily say that your leadership is at the top level. You're one of the top sustainability leaders in the state of California, if not the nation. So we're so lucky and appreciative of having you in Sacramento. I see your accomplishments every day as a constituent, riding my bike to work, and have certainly seen that through my work with you at the Local Government Commission. You've led on so many challenging issues, from climate change and housing to transportation. We see that in Sacramento with bike share and the expanded bike lanes you've done, with so much housing and downtown redevelopment, and so many successes on active transportation and light rail and transit as well. So thank you for all that you've done. We know that you'll continue to be a very impressive and formidable partner and champion for our work. You've also been critical to the work of the Joint Mayors Climate Commission, and I know that the steps you've taken through the commission and through the city since will continue to have long-lasting impacts. So we are so appreciative of your leadership in that area as well. So as a friend, as a constituent, as a colleague, I want to thank you for being such a brave leader, for taking on so many complex challenges, and for really inspiring me, inspiring all of us at LGC, and being an inspiration statewide for cities who will continue to lead because of your work. So looking forward to cheering you on in your next chapter, and just so proud of you and your accomplishments, and excited that I've had the chance to work so closely with you over the last 7 years. Thanks, Steve. Bye for now.
Hey, Steve. 17 years ago, we met in that building back there. Anyways, it's been a great ride. I want to thank you for all the 8 years of service, and more importantly, just our experience of working together. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have been able to do legal funding services for immigrants during this Trump era. We wouldn't have been able to do the Vision Zero and improving all the street issues on Stockton Boulevard in my own neighborhood. But anyways, brother, thank you for being such a good friend. Michael, thanks for lending us Steve. And I'm glad that you guys are going to be able to spend more time with Henry. Love you, brother.
Hey, I'm Kelly McAllister. I'm the scheduler and executive assistant for Councilmember Steve Hansen. Steve, I got to tell you, man, it has been such a pleasure telling you where to be and when to be there these last few years. I will forever be in awe of your ability to wax poetic on the cuff and to recite all kinds of random information about all kinds of stuff. But in all seriousness, I really appreciate you taking a chance on someone like me And I wish you and your beautiful family all the best. Nick and I look forward to seeing you guys around town.
Hi, I'm Julie Murphy. I'm Steve's appointee to the Sacramento Parks and Community Enrichment Commission. And I just want to thank Steve for issuing the challenge when he first started in office that everyone has a chance to make the city better every day. And I've seen that ethos applied to a myriad of projects with the parks. Two of my favorites, of course, are the inspirational Ali Yousefi Square and also just the enjoyment that people get from the Truett Bark Park. So thank you, Steve, for issuing the challenge. We will continue to make Sacramento a better place every day.
Steve, what I loved most was attending events with you and just listening to your knowledge and just your overall love for District 4 and the city of Sacramento. You'll be truly missed.
Hey, Steve. Hope you're enjoying your party. First of all, I really wanted to thank you so much for the opportunity to serve as a commissioner on the Planning and Design Commission. For the 8 years that you've been on the City Council, it's been a fantastic time. I've really enjoyed it. We have done some incredible projects together. Sac Commons was a hoot. The arena, 19J, Yamini, Fort Sutter, many, many things. Too numerous to name, actually, after 8 years. Anyway, I'm very proud of the things that we've done together. I particularly have enjoyed the time that we've spent talking about these issues, the support you've given me, the knowledge that you've had, your encyclopedic understanding of the history of projects, and your appreciation for the history of Sacramento has not gone unnoticed. I valued them very much, and I value you enormously. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
My name is Isabella Argueta, and I am council representative to Steve. And what I love so much about working in the District 4 office is being able to work with Kelly, Matt, and Steve, who are all such funny and brilliant people, and being able to work with them every day on projects in District 4 that directly benefit the community, such as this historic building in the middle of Wood Park.
Steve, I just want to say congratulations on 8 great years of service. I'm proud to say that I got to work with you for so many of them on some really transformative projects. For all the massive accomplishments that came out of your office, like adding the regional bike share system, to installing the first protected bicycle lanes in the city, to shepherding through really challenging infill projects to bring much needed density, much needed housing to our community. Some of the memories I look most fondly at are really the ones that help neighborhoods on their day-to-day life. Adding a stop sign to a challenging intersection, or adding streetlights to a dark part of the neighborhood. Those are the things that make impact on the community. And no matter how small the challenge or issue was, you were more than happy to step in. And that's really what embodies a good public servant. And that's why I'm so happy and lucky to call you a friend. And I'm so excited to see what you do next. And we'll be there to support you in whatever you choose to do. And thank you again for everything.
Hey, Steve. In our time working together, we've been able to do some pretty amazing things, and I'm proud to call you a colleague and a friend. I've learned a lot from you about approaching problems, tackling big issues, and standing up on issues that matter. In my time in public service, I've learned it has to be a team sport. Through different iterations of our district team and our working partnerships, we've been able to do more than I ever thought we could. I'm so glad there are so many faces here from past and present to reflect on our time together. Much love and appreciation to you, to Henry, and to Mike, and excited to see what's next.
Hi, Consuelo Hernandez here. I was the District 4 Chief of Staff for 5 years, and I'm so proud of what we accomplished. Some of my favorite things were reopening Washington Elementary School, helping fund farmers market produce for CalFresh recipients, and winning the 5th floor door decorating contest 2 years in a row. Steve, if you add up all of our time working together, you are my longest running work colleague, and we've done some great things together. Thank you so much for making me a part of the D4 team, and I wish you all the best.
So I'm Darrell Steinberg, the mayor, and this is a bittersweet moment to say thank you to my friend and my colleague Steve Hansen for 4 great years working together. I have such respect, admiration, and love for you, and that you rolled up your sleeves and that you took on big things like housing and complicated ordinance, and that you fought for the people of your district. I am proud to know you. I am proud you are my friend. Many good things ahead.
Hey Daddy Steve, it's Mike and Henry. We just wanted to thank you for all your public service as a council member. We love you and we love Sacramento, and we're excited to see what this next chapter does. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Steve Hansen, here in historic Southside Park. A little over 8 years ago, I set out on a journey with a lot of other people to transform Sacramento into a city that was modern, urban, and vibrant, where young people, creatives, and others would see their future here in this city, would see their face on the council, for instance, being the first LGBT city council member. And I hope that over these last 8 years, you've been proud of the work we've done together. And we have done so much. We did not waste a day. The motto we set out on this campaign with was that every day was our chance to make this city a little bit better. And you can look at every corner of District 4 and see something we worked on together. New bike lanes, new street lights, schools reopened, parks improved, new arts and culture amenities, the Powerhouse, the Powerhouse Science Center, now known as the Museum of Science and Curiosity, the B Street Theater, which is known as the Sophia, the Clara, all these wonderful things. There comes a time in every career where you transition from one thing to another. I am so thankful to you for helping me and this city grow and change for the better. I really want to say that although this transition has come, I hope you continue the work. You continue improving your neighborhoods. You continue making it safer for people to bike and walk. You continue advocating for better transit, for infill development, for our artists, for equality and equity in all of our programs. The best days of Sacramento are really still to come. The COVID pandemic, the economic fallout, has shattered so many of our dreams, has changed how we see ourselves and our ability to connect with one another. But I know that as we come out of this, it's the neighborliness, it's the love for one another that we've seen demonstrated over these very difficult 9 months that will see us through. Sacramento will build back better, will build back stronger, and will ultimately still be that city that we've all hoped it can be, where everybody has a place and it truly is home, whether you were born here, whether you moved here, or whether you just want to raise your family here, like I and my partner Michael with our son Henry are. This is a place that we have to love, and I do love very sincerely. Thank you to my team. Thank you to our city staff. Thank you to everyone who made possible all these tremendous things that we've done. There's still a lot more work to do. You'll see me around. Please say hi. Let's continue to fight for the Sacramento that we love and that we deserve and that we hope for. Thank you for these 8 years, and cheers to all of you for helping make it happen.
Let's get the ball ahead.
if we want to yell, let's hear it for the boy. Let's give the boy a hand. Let's hear it for my baby. Oh, you gotta understand. Whoa, maybe he's no Romeo, but he's my life in one man show. Let's hear it for the boy.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. What a beautiful celebration for Steve Hansen. Steve, we love you. If you weren't able to tell by now, we love you. Thank you so much for your service. And we just can't wait to see what's next for you. You are a bright, shining star in our community and beyond. And we look forward to watching you shine. Blessings.